Detroit Lions! You guys watching the game or what? Welcome, everybody. Long time no see. Watching the Lions game right now. Doing a little crypto trading. Good to see everybody. It's been a little bit of time. I just got back from Spain last week or 2 weeks ago, and then I had the Hurricane Irma coming. I thought it was coming towards Destin, so I was kind of getting a lay of the land to see if I have to bail or not, but it missed us. But unfortunately hit many other people, so I don't really feel that relieved. It's kind of one of those things, right? Do you feel relieved or not relieved knowing that so much suffering going on? So I don't know, mixed feelings, right? But it's good to see everybody. Hey, I got a webinar starting on Thursday. I'll give you guys kind of a peek into what I do to train traders and how I believe that people work, and we'll be going into really what our boot camp's all about, and then also some different aspects. I'm going to be going over some of our recent trades and setups and kind of how I set things up. It should be pretty cool. Look forward to seeing everybody in there. Just go to the website, and you guys will be able to register. I want to take a second today to talk to you a little bit about a trade I took in AAOI today that I made $2,000 on, but the way I took this trade was interesting. I think it's really important because a great trader is going to be really, really organized, meaning a trader is only as good as the stocks he trades. And that means he has to actually be in those stocks and always have them on his watch list, right? So one of the things that used to happen to me all the time when I was a new trader, I'd make this big elaborate watch list, and then I would miss the trade. You know, I'd be like, oh, I missed a trade, right? And it's like, oh, I missed a trade, and that was like always the thing. Like, I missed a trade, right? And that was always really, really frustrating because I'd have this paralysis by analysis of because my watch list was too long. So, you know, now, like, this is my trading platform, app trade, but just to keep organized, I use this TC2000. It's just a charting platform. I don't trade on it. But, you know, one of the things I do is I use this 6-window layout, and, you know, I kind of keep my main watches on my list. I keep them on a different monitor. So I keep them up there. I detach this, and I'll keep this somewhere else. So I detach this, float in a new window, and so I kind of have the stocks that I'm watching, you know, up there, and then I make a watch list. I try to have like 5 to 10 names max of stuff I really like, but of course, there's in a bull market, there's like so many heaters going, right? So many hot ones that could go, but maybe they're not ready right now. And so being organized is a big part of this. Like yesterday, when I was flipping through my stocks, you know, I saw AAOI kind of curling down like this, and normally this would be a bear flag, but you know, I was thinking, wow, this is kind of a rounding bottom pattern, and tech is really hot right now. You know, people are gonna probably pick this up off the bottom at some point and ramp it back up. And so, but I didn't think it was ready at that moment. You know, I had still work to do. It was in the $58, $57 range, and it was still under all this resistance, so I wasn't really interested in trading it at that moment. I thought it would take some time to start curling back up. Lo and behold, so what I did, because I don't want to have it in my immediate watch list, I draw a trend line and I set an alert. And I set an alert that says, you know, if I get over this trend line, you know, alert me and I'll be going. So, you know, you can see here, like, I set this alert 917, you know, to go above trend line. And so what happens is when you do that, you know, on TC2000, if you right-click something, you can set an alert, and what it will do, you can leave yourself a note, and then use these settings where you can actually email yourself, add as many emails as you want, text message, a little sound alert, pretty cool, right? I set them all, so I don't miss anything, because I'm a little unorganized at times. You can see I'm a little hyper, right? So I've got to do that. So now what I do is I've got this alert set at $60, you know, when it breaks over those MAs and it's resistance, but I'm thinking, you know what, maybe it'll take some time. So it's not ready now, so I don't have it on my watch list. But lo and behold, in the morning, and I was having a shitty day because I lost $1,400 at the open on this trade over here, where I just totally kind of made emotional error, and I fucking oversized it, right? And so I made this crazy error, and I made a crazy error, and I was down on it, and I needed a heater. And none of my watch list was popping. But lo and behold, I heard a gong. Then I heard a text message. When this thing broke over 60, I said, oh, interesting. Because I know that in the past, you know, this stock has gone on a history of making runs. This stock has gone on a history of making runs. And so I don't, you know, I know that I could get a good chunk out of this. And so once it goes over 60, I'm watching it. I'm watching it for any pattern over 60, right? And I don't care what pattern it is. Flat top, pull back to moving average, flag, you know, VWAP play, a shake and bake, dip and rip, annexation of Puerto Rico, you know, whatever it might be. I'm willing to take anything as long as my risk is managed and it holds above 60, right? So this thing pops up, starts to flag out with this 9 EMA curling up under it. Once you get the curls for the girls, right up under, that limits your risk, provides extra demand to come into the stock, and it gives you that compression you need for it to explode. The thing to always watch is the float on this is really low, 18 million shares. It had expanding volume this morning. You saw a little bit of spike in volume that it normally doesn't have. So I knew that there was high relative volume. And then I know from past experience, this stock has a great ability to move, right? Which is awesome. And so what I want to be doing is hitting this flag. So I got this thing like a little bit under 60 probably, 1,000 shares. And then it was off to the races. Look, this thing got to 66 bucks. I should have made a lot more than 2 G's for the keys. But I goofed up, you know, which is, you're never going to have every trade perfect. You know, one of the mistakes I made on this is I scaled out a little bit too early. You know, my first half, I sold out like 61.50s. So I took like a buck on it, which is fine. But I probably should have scaled out in 1/3, which is usually what I do in the bull market when the market's at highs. I like to scale out 1/3. I'm not sure why I took off so many shares. Just maybe a little bit of a mental error. I should have prepared a little bit better for that. And then my real mistake was, you know, I sold off my other fourth right in this mid-62s. Now, even knowing that this has the ability to make big moves. See, when you're like, you know, now it looks like it's not extended, but you can see like when you're in the trade, this is what it looks like, right? And I'm like, fuck, this thing's really extended. And then, you know, it went off to the races, and, you know, I sold out too many of my shares. So I only had those kind of lottos up here, and that just was no good. So, you know, I ended up making like 1,200 bucks on that trade. I redeemed myself as when it pulled back. So midday, I like those pullbacks towards a VWAP. So you got a little shake and bake over the 9 EMA, which is my ideal play, a test, a shake, and a break of trend line. Once you get that, you know, you're off to the races with the high of day as your target. I did sell a little bit early before the high of days, thinking this would be a 2-tapper. And it did go up a little bit more, but, you know, what are you going to do? I entered the stock 3 times, which is good. My best trades, I typically will get 2 to 3 to 4 entries in them, and not like creepy, degenerate, gambler-style entries where you just buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell for 10 cents. Talk about, right, a play in the morning, a play in the midday, and a play at the end of the day. There's 3 stages to the market. I want to have 3 stages of entries if the stock is trending and working in my favor. So I did that. I have this Evernote of all my best trades, and that's one thing I've noticed is that my best trades, the ones that I make $2,000 or more, I always have multiple entries in them, and then that ends up being how I really elongate those gains. When a stock is trending, I want to keep hammering them and hammering them, adding risk, adding size. I think that's really important to propel your gains, right? You know, if you can make $2 in a trade, what if you can make $2 3 different times in the stock, right? if the setup gives it to you. The key is to know that there are morning setups, middle of the day setups, end of the day setups, and they must match. Otherwise, all is lost and evil has taken over. Just kidding. But you know what I'm talking about. And, you know, that's it. So, guys, we have boot camp starting in a couple weeks. I know a lot of you guys have signed up. For my past students, remember we have lifetime access to our boot camp. My students, it's an A to Z class. I teach everything I know in my brain about trading. You know, we talk about how to set up your charts. I can take somebody from a dead beginner and we build them up to scanning and news and gappers and everything. We build them up into that over the course of those 60 days. And it's, you know, it's a lot of work, but it's pretty cool. So my past students, if you guys are watching this, I want to see you in class. The whole point of lifetime access and lifetime learning is to really learn for a lifetime. As you guys are growing, I'm growing as a teacher, and I always put a little bit of a new twist on boot camp, and so I'm excited to do it again. It's live, right? Nobody can learn trading from watching some damn DVDs. You don't watch the Rolling Stones on YouTube, right? You need to see it live. I look forward to seeing everybody at the webinar on Thursday. I love you guys. Feel free to leave me any comments. Man, I've been having a lot of fun with this. I'm glad to be back home, and let's get this thing going.